Hello, D-Rock here. Welcome to the channel. When I describe things with the word prehistoric, I'm kind of painting with a broad brush. You see, there are quite a few different time periods in regards to the human occupation of the Americas. I'm trying to keep it a little less complicated by using the term prehistoric, and that would cover a time period dating from right before European contact to all the way back to 12,000 years or so. Quite a stretch. So when I'm out in the high or low desert, looking for signs of prehistoric peoples, such as lithics from tool making, to discovering possible ruins, I really can't give a specific date on what I'm encountering. I'm simply speculating that what I've encountered might have been lived in or made in that very broad time period I just mentioned. As I continue to educate myself, I may get a little better at identifying certain things from more specific time periods, hopefully. That brings me to this trip. I had a feeling this particular geographic area might have held some prehistoric camps or seasonal villages. It kind of had a nice level area surrounded by mountains with a spring or two located nearby. There would have been abundant resources such as animals to hunt, consistent water for small-scale farming, and also materials for shelters such as pit houses. Worth a shot to go and have a look. So please join me as I head out into the high desert to discover what once was. Back in action. That's right. If you watched the last video, excuse me, I had some technical issues with my truck here, getting out of the desert. And what happened was, well, the motor blew. That's right. Done. It was an adventure, let me tell you. So once I started and heard the noise the engine was making, and then there was just white smoke coming out of the exhaust. That's kind of how I ended the video, the last video, and I was like, I knew it, motor's done. So I had two choices. I could sit right there and call a tow truck, or try and call a tow truck, and I would have just been out in the desert all day. It just would have been all day ordeal, or I can try and ride it back. And that's what I did. White knuckled that thing all the way back to Civilization. It was like 100 miles. And I was just, if I could just get close enough to town, I can deal with the tow, and it'll be immensely easier to get the truck to the shop. So I drove it, and it was interesting. It was smoke pouring through the dashboard. I mean, there was things like breaking and falling out of the truck. It was intense, but we made it all the way down to the city. And the truck died right in front of my mechanic shop. So made it. And we had to put a new motor in. So been without this truck for the last couple weeks, and now it's back in action. It's got a newer engine. I wouldn't say brand new. But I shouldn't have any problems for the foreseeable future. So yeah, we new motor, new radiator. She's good to go. That's just price of admission of coming out in the desert. This is like the only truck I trust. It's literally my life raft coming out in the desert. So I have another truck, an old Chevy, I won't bring anything like that out into the desert, because I know more than likely if something happens, it's not going to get me out. This truck will get me out, even though I did blow a motor, but it got me out on a blown motor, 100 miles back into town. And that wouldn't have happened in the other truck. So that's the way it is. Anyway, back out in the hills, kind of inaugural ride here. See how she's running. I just got her back, and so far so good. But
We had a cold front pass through, cool things off a little bit. So we came up in the hills, and we're gonna just kind of wander around and see if we run into any, you know, prehistoric hunting artifacts like spear points or arrowheads or anything like that. On the way out here, we saw lots of critters. Saw lots of turkeys, deer, coyotes, and this is definitely a good area for hunting. So I haven't really done any exploring in this particular area, so we're gonna walk. We're in the higher desert. We're gonna kind of walk the hills a little bit, see if we run into anything. So I just kind of wanted to get out and see how the truck was riding before I take her on any longer trips, and you know, enjoy some of this cooler weather before the heat comes back in full force. Yeah, so let's get moving. Just gonna kind of wander to this hill. People would have been hunting out here, well, since people were here for a long time. I don't know if I'll run into any camps, but you never know. We're just kind of wandering the hillsides, seeing if we find any artifacts. And I know that over the hill and down a ways, I think there's a spring back there. So might want to ride out there after we kind of look around this area a bit, because there might be stuff in that area. Definitely wherever there's a water source, there's going to be activity. Would have attracted animals, it would have attracted humans. So it's a good spot to look. But we'll wander around this small hill for a bit, see what we encounter, if anything at all. It's good. You get up out of the drainage. The drainage is all grassy, and you get up on the sides of the hill here, and got a lot more open land to deal with. Can spot things easier, but I'm already coming across, this is some lithic material here. That's a good sign. Might need to move up a little higher, but that material, if I'm not mistaken, is chert. Might not be in obsidian today. It might be all chert, but yeah. And this stuff here that I come across, this is actually, it's not lithic material, but it's called chalcedony. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's pretty cool. Learning my geology. Yeah, lots of deer in these hills. Not just deer, turkey, I mean rabbit, you name it. So people would have been hunting these hills since they first came into the area. So the chances of stumbling upon an artifact are actually pretty good when you consider the amount of time excuse me, people have been out here wandering these hills and hunting. The chances of encountering something spectacular, pretty rare. Most times you'll just come across, you know, something broke, shattered, pieces. As far as running into any type of village or camp, probably not. If anything, it'd just be a kill site where you'd find stuff. But one thing I've mentioned in a lot of videos is I do find things on the surface, and what happens is the land's always changing. So you've got when the rains come, it disturbs everything, and of course wind moves soil around, uncovers things, covers things, and it just goes back and forth. But ooh, there's a bunch of very fresh scat, and right next to it looks like might be some lithic material. So the chances are pretty good. Nothing of interest right at the top here, so I'm not going to actually walk down. There's a nice level section right here that looks pretty good. I'm going to head down there and then make my way back up in here, and I'm going to wander the other side back up to the truck, and then maybe try and get over to that spring area. So thus far we are striking out. We found a couple what could be lithic material here and there, but nothing of any significance. Well, this is standing out in the dirt. It's a piece right here. That would be a core stone. I'm fairly certain that may be chert. Need to sit over here and just really have a look. I'm feeling kind of good about this area. I just found, wow, look at that. I'm gonna go in with a close-up. So I think this might be a scraper. It's pretty thin. You can see the material, and the material is chert, but what I really want to point out is, to get closer, if you look at the edges there, you can tell the edge has been worked. That's been shaped. Check that out. So that's a pretty fine edge. That would have been a pretty good cutting tool. I mean, if you ran this down your arm right now, that would that'd open you up. That's pretty impressive. I think I feel like it might be a scraper. I've been used to seeing a bunch of obsidian as of late, but I'm back in the chert now. I think this is chert. So, it's a pretty big piece too. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, we are definitely on something. That may be a point. I'm gonna go in with a close-up for this. All right, there it is. Oh man, broken. But as you can see, that's definitely been worked. Dang it. Had high hopes for a second, but a lot of times this is what you find, just shattered pieces. Well, I have to admit, I think we're doing pretty good this morning for just randomly wandering in some hills. We've definitely come across some artifacts. Of course, nothing spectacular, but then again, coming across something spectacular is pretty rare, to be honest with you. It's just, it doesn't happen very often. So we definitely found evidence of possible points and scrapers. So it might have been a kill site for something. I don't know. This is an interesting area. I got some interesting stones that are placed. I just walked over here and I was like, man, this looks like the stones are just kind of lined up. See? I don't know. It looks unusual, to be honest with you. It looks placed. Or human-made, I should say. Pretty interesting indeed. So I went up to the top here and then kind of worked my way down. And I got into some stuff for a second. I don't know. There's some interesting stonework. It looked like some stones might have been placed. For what, I don't know. And then I found a kind of concentrated spot with lithic material, the scraper and everything. But other than that, not much. So interesting. I don't know. I mean, we got into something for sure, but yeah, who knows what it's all about. But maybe just a hunting spot or a kill site, you know. But we're gonna get back to the truck and head to a different area. All right, I've made my way from the hilltop over there across, and we're not in a nice flat section, still on a rise looking down, but you can notice the ground in front of me. There's not a whole lot of large stones, and there's just this right here. And I always get suspect when I see stones like this because they kind of don't belong here. I mean, it's nice and flat. I don't know. Seeing stuff like this might indicate there may be a ruin up here. All right, we've got more chert. Getting warmer. Yes, indeed. Just when you think you're onto something, the trail goes cold. Looks like a pretty good hill to explore over there, but I'm already over here now, so I'm gonna have a walk up in here and then make my way back. But coming across stuff here and there, not very much of it. Yeah, I just keep coming across enough stuff to keep me interested, keep me walking around the area. All right, flat stone, lithic material. This is white chert here. Okay, like I said, I keep running into stuff and it keeps me encouraged. Well, I keep finding lots of big chunks like this. This might have been worked into something, or is on its way to being worked onto something. You can see how it's been manipulated into a shape. Yeah, I keep finding large chunks of this. Yeah, I'm on the trickle effect. So you get little pieces here and there to keep you following along, and sometimes it leads to a site or ruins. Sometimes it leads to absolutely nothing. Well, I just came across something interesting. Looks like I got 3 materials here that have been worked. So I'm gonna switch to another camera as we just kind of pull those out of the ground. I don't think this is anything spectacular, but it's just an example. There's some lithic material there. Whoops. There's some lithic material there. And there's, yeah. Here's the chert. There's this. Whoa. That's definitely been worked. Huh. That's interesting. You can see along the edges where it's been chipped. It's all right there, one spot all together. Oh. Oh. Well, I think I'm holding an unfinished product here. Check that out. I'm gonna get the other camera for a close-up of this. That is definitely a worked piece there. And I think what we're seeing is an unfinished product here, but like, you can tell what it was going to be. That thing's dang near as big as my hand. That's pretty impressive. And it's that material chert, so someone didn't finish what they started. But you can tell, or maybe that is, you can see the points missing there. I don't know. Maybe that is. Can't say. It's biface. They were worked on both sides. But that's a big piece. That's got that's the highlight of the day. I found another one earlier, look, that was similar to this, but not quite as worked on. So this is pretty cool. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, that thing's still pretty fat, but worked nonetheless and shaped. It's well on its way, and then I don't know, something occurred. It wasn't finished. Maybe it was finished. I can't say for certain, but that's the best find of the day, I'd have to say. I'll just leave that in its spot and continue on. So this is where the spring is. You see, it's pretty lush in here. I'm not going in that. That's all scrub oak and dense brush, and nope, I'm good. But I just noticed there's a track going up. So we're gonna just walk around the general area because people would have hung out here if the spring was even in existence hundreds of years ago, even 1,000 years ago, if it was producing. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I can't say, but if it was, people would have been in the area. They would have waited in these hills. They would have watched the animals come in for drinks, because it's pretty dry out here. I mean, I'm in early summer now and the place is just dry. We haven't had rain in weeks, and more than likely won't have any rain until the monsoons start next month. So if they start at all. So this would have been a spot where animals would have come and got water. Not just animals, humans as well, but it would have been an ideal area to ambush animals. So just gonna kind of take a walk in the general area and kind of be a little careful, because it is definitely snake 30 now, but we're gonna have a look and finish out the day here. So that is one giant cottonwood tree. Cottonwoods are very thirsty trees. They don't hang out where there ain't water. So this is a spring, and that tree's doing very well for itself. I should probably be looking in this, but as you can see, that's way overgrown. But as you can also see, just there's some more lithic material just on the edge. Yeah, and got agua, marshy agua. So there's game trails all over this area, so I'm sure there's lots of points and stuff out here, lots of artifacts. But I think we're already to our limit today. Early afternoon, the heat's upon us, so I think we're gonna wrap this and get on out of here. Yeah, it's all marshy. It's completely deep. Wow. What was that? You see, there's actually moving water in here. There's your water in the high desert. People and animals would have been all over this. Walking this down a little bit, but not seeing anything. These game trails just going right on up this. Oh yeah, well, I have to come back when it's a little cooler or early morning and really give this area a good search up in the hills. Fantastic. Okay, folks, that was a good day, productive. We did find some things, nothing spectacular, but that's how it rolls sometimes. Anyways, lots more content to come, so if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It helps us out tremendously, and it is free. We will see you next time. D-Rock out. Adios.